Well met, fellow traveller, and we have another unboxing review for you uh, from Italeri, number 6026 in 1/72nd scale, the Hundred Years' War French Knights and Foot Soldiers. So, at first glance, let's have a quick look at the box art, which depicts Joan of Arc with a complement of heavily armoured knights. So, I'm not going to get into the history of the Hundred Years' War. There are more qualified and better produced videos on the subject, I'm sure. But what I do know is that Joan of Arc heralded a change of fortunes. As England was winning battle after battle, Joan of Arc came along, inspired the nation, and thereon England never really reached the heights that it was finding itself commanding beforehand. So yeah, quite a nice picture, quite a nice bit of art. Nothing too amazing, you know. But yeah, Joan of Arc looks young, which of course she would have been. And this is a counterpart set to the English Knights and Archers, which we will review shortly. So let's just flip the box over and see what we've got. So we've got two painting guides of mounted knights. You know, with a rather bombastic sounding model master colour guide, and a little bit of legalese on the side in many different languages, absolving themselves of all injury should you, I don't know, stab yourself with your box cutters. So yeah, 28 unpainted figures in 52 parts, and well, we're going to have a look inside, see what it's saying. So, I'll just show you my paints while I'm taking the sprues out. So, it comes with two sprues, like I say, 28 unpainted miniatures, 8 knights, 8 horses, 20 soldiers. So, that's sprue 1 and sprue 2. So, unlike the previous sets that I've reviewed, the Mongols and the Chinese, these two sets are separately cast and sculpted. Of course, there are some repeated poses and repeated figures, and we'll just have a look. So, these are not your typical soldiers. They are all nobility, because they've all got the funds for plate armour, which at this stage in the war, although common, would definitely not be worn by your everyday soldier. So we've got a halberdier, we've got a maceman, 2 swordsmen. We've got crossbowmen with separately sculpted crossbows, which are absolutely very intricately sculpted, and they do an absolutely amazing job. So we've got a resting one, we've got a guy kneeling, we've got a standard bearer, we've got some shields. I'll flip them over and we'll have a look at the other side of those, and then I believe that those are repeated, so this is a mirrored sculpt. Yep, so they're all mirrored. Also on this sprue we have 4 horsemen. So let's have a quick deeper look at these. So what's not coming through on the camera so well is that these are in a silver plastic. So if you don't plan on painting these miniatures, you're going to have some really flash horses. But look at the livery on them. Excuse me. Yep. So we've got somewhat of a, I don't know, a double-headed eagle there with the fleur-de-lis, armoured. The sculpting is absolutely first-rate across the board. So if your freehanding skills aren't quite up to par, well, they've done the job for you. So that's a bit of a double-edged sword. I personally prefer them plain so that I can attempt to put whatever livery I feel like on it, the heraldry and what have you. So moving on to the second sprue, or the first sprue, depending on whichever way you want to look at it. These are some of the mounted warriors. So this chap's got a spear, well, a lance that's supposed to be plugged into the ring hand. As far as the fit actually goes, I can't say. I haven't assembled any of these miniatures. We've got a separate stand there, a separate like a standard that can be carried into battle by this gentleman. So yeah, the legs seem to be quite spread. This chap seems to be fully outstretched, ready to strike. The flat of his blade, well, the edge of it, with a bit of posing or imagination, yeah, you could probably make that work. More horses. So if we've already got 4 on the other, we should expect 4 on this sprue. And we do. Now, whether these are duplicates or separately cast, I don't know. I haven't had a proper look at these. This is the first time that I'm really having a look at any of these figures outside of the boxes, so on first impression, I am very impressed. Obviously, yeah, okay, so we've got another duplicate set here. So whatever poses we've got on the other one, so we've got about 3 poses, well, we've got 3 figures of the same pose, which isn't bad. You know, if you want them in uniform, you want to stick them on stands, they do the job quite nicely. And seeing as these shields, I believe, are the same as on the other sprue, we can flip it over and have a look at the outside face. So, much like the horses, they've got the heraldry already sculpted on, so if you're not so confident with your freehand, you can just, you know, keep your paint in the lines, and you've got yourself some nice livery. Like I say, I prefer them plain, but with a bit of imagination, you could use these in, you know, fantasy battles or whatever. So yeah, I mean, just on the sculpts alone, these are absolutely first rate. The detail is impeccable, unimpeachably well made. No flash that I've seen. I can't really tell if there's any mould slip or excess plastic, but I doubt very much that there is, or if there is, it's definitely kept at a minimum. So yeah, for the price that you get, 28 painted miniatures for about 12 quid, you really can't go wrong, can you? So yeah, incredible. Very, very good. I'd say that these are probably, I'm going to give these the highest score just simply because the actual number of figures that you get in this set, in conjunction with the individual sculpts of the mounted warriors at the very least, yeah, you can't really fault them. So yeah, excellent. Totally worth picking up. Good addition to anybody who's interested in collecting miniatures of this time frame, or even if you just like painting and displaying your miniatures, these will do well in any glass cabinet. Yeah, just one final look at the crossbows, because I'd say that they are the standout. Just look how well engineered they are. There's a little bit of flash or excess plastic there, but nothing that a bit of patience won't solve. So yeah, excellent. 4 out of 5. The only thing stopping it from really being a perfect score is, well, for me, it's the fact that they're already engraved with the heraldry. So, and coupled with the fact that there are, I wouldn't say few poses, but rather limited scope of poses, means that you really will, the only way to differentiate between the houses would be to invert the colours or to paint them different schemes. But in the main, you know, get them all lined up together, and unless you're a real history buff, well, it's just like I say, unimpeachably high quality that I've come to expect from Italeri. And for further, for your further perusal, PlasticSoldierReview.com also has this on review, and I think they've got, you know, he goes a bit into more detail than I can, and he's got much more. He's been in the hobby a lot longer and probably is interested in the more minutiae of the hobby. But for me, as a layman, yeah, fabulous. 4 out of 5. I dare say 9 out of 10. So yeah, good addition to any collection, and yeah, get them if you can.